Hello and welcome to Somebody's Heroes. We are here tonight for the vignette for Telissa. I'm Eric, I'm the Dungeon Master.
Hello everyone, I am Sean. You can find me all across the internet, mostly at Threads, but also Instagram and Twitch. As help action needed, I'm all over the place. You can find me wherever. And today I'll be playing Sylvain. It's not my vignette, but I'm here to move it along.
Just facilitating what we need. I love it.
Yep. Hi, I'm Colleen. You can find me on Threads and Insta. It's colly.erin, COLLY.ERIN. Threads and Insta, and I'll be playing the Telissa, the vignette that you're watching. Yay!
The reason you're listening to me.
Yeah, because I completely fumbled through that. It's great.
Not the worst thing that's ever happened. We are fine. We will move right along. We are actually going to start in now. Sean, you're going to have to make sure I pronounce this correctly.
Mm-hmm.
Your castle is Balric.
Balric, yes.
Balric.
He got it really good.
I'm very good with rolling letters. But you're up on one of the top spires.
Mm-hmm.
Out in the sky. It's an open top. And you're just sitting there meditating. Like you've done before and a bunch of different times. And tonight, it is a crystal clear night. You see the moon of the Fae. Let me see if I can get those names real quick. I was not thinking far enough ahead. We have those names.
But I don't know.
Okay, so up above you, you see Embrath, the moon of fire. You see Erlin, the moon of air. Far off in the distance, like on the horizon. This is like midnight, but off in the distance on the horizon, you see Terra, the moon of earth. And straight above you, you see ER, the Fey moon. As you're doing one of your meditations. There's a couple other moons still that just are not visible right now. But you're sitting there meditating. Go ahead and give me let's go ahead and do let's do concentration check.
Nice. That comes out to a 23.
23. Mwah. You're sitting there just meditating, and you actually feel yourself kind of leave your body and float up. And this has happened before because you are a druid of the stars.
Mm-hmm.
But you're actually floating up and you go into the heavens. Not the heavens as in like the capital H heaven, but like the heavens, the stars, the celestial sphere. And you're up there and just watching everything and yet nothing. You can see the continent you get that the Dragonborn came from to the south. You can see another continent far to the west as the planet rotates around the horizon. And is there any abilities or anything that you want to use to try and push further?
Yeah, I mean, Sylvain has several ways of moving throughout, but I think if we're trying to push further, focusing on the space between the stars and not so much the moon and the stars and constellations themselves, but the void and the lack of perspective in it all. We'll look down at his arm where he has a star map tattooed to echo the star, and as he moves, it moves along his skin magically, showing him exactly where he's at. And he's just going to kind of concentrate on that, focus in on a certain spot that he's been to before, and just follow his senses deeper into space.
Perfect. So you're following your star map. You go through, you pass another couple of planets that not that you have been to yourself, but that you know exist that are on your star map. A couple other suns that mark the locations on your map. Places your ancestors have been, so on and so forth. And you reach the end of your star map. Do you want to keep pushing and go off the map?
I've never been there before, so tonight seems like as good as night of any to go.
Perfect. Roll me a concentration check. One more time.
26.
26. Beautiful. Just loving these rolls. You push further so far that you actually are seeing 3 choices ahead of you. And you're getting a slight glimpse of planets around those stars. 1. And all you're seeing is a scene of something happening on that world at that moment to choose whether you can go there or not. 1, you see a tabaxi kneeling and bowing, wreathed in flames, bowing to a king with a three-horned crown. It's a very dark, muted environment, but you just see that character walk in, kneel, and wreathed in flame the entire time, and just look. The head looks up right at the king. Your vision cuts out, and you go to another one. You see a 2 tabaxis and 2 large bear folk fighting against this. With your knowledge of dragons, it looks like a dragon of a kind you've never seen before, which is a little interesting. But it almost looks like a lindworm. But it still has the wings, but the wings are more folded back. And it's happening in an underground cavern. And you just see this worm come around and bite down, and immediately two of them get cut in half. And you see one of the bear folk and one of the tabaxis still sitting there fighting this thing. They come down and they just boom attack as it attacked their friends, instantly killing them. And it immediately shakes its head, smacks the bear folk, who had a giant axe beyond the size you've ever seen. The axe is lodged in its neck still, and the body just goes flying against the wall and crumples. And then the third one. Middle of a dense forest. Peaceful, tranquil. You see a trifecta of tabaxi monks. Well, they appear to be monks, because who else knows how to astral project without magic? Because you can tell this isn't magic like this is mundane magic. It's that training of yourself, that monkish type stuff, the key energy. And you see the 3 of them astral project out of their bodies, and then just start training with each other in a sparring match. Which one looks the most interesting to Sylvain?
Well, that's an interesting new dragon. Let's learn more about that one. And he'll take himself and just like creating map as it goes. Like you can see Iker bleeding off of his hands as ink retroactively adds itself from the space around him, adding a bit more to the map as he dives into whatever planet or projection or reality he sees in front of him.
Perfect. As you do, you fly straight into that projection. You go to the planet. You go down through the ground. Again, you're in your astral form, your star form, and you go in and you just watch the rest of this fight. You see this female tabaxi. What does Telissa's face look like after all of that just happened?
I think by now she has grown up a little bit more, so she doesn't have that shell shock anymore. So I feel like, she had an idea that this was going to be the end. And of course, it's all of her friends that fought so hard for her. So you know what? She just takes one page out of another, one of her lost comrades' books, takes the page out of their book and just starts raging.
So you rage against this giant lindworm.
This little kitty.
30 foot long, coiled up around the outside of this chamber.
Yeah. She's gonna rage. It
snarls, looks at Sylvain, and you can tell it sees you. Telissa, you see this creature that you were fighting look off against a wall. Not at you, not at anything. Not even at where Axel just died a moment ago.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing there except rock. And you see its breath weapon start to form in its mouth as it detects a threat. Because you're dead. It knows you're dead. Or at least it thinks.
Yeah.
And it just starts gearing up its breath weapon. Sylvain, in the middle of this, you see this breath start to form.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like both fire and lightning and looks like fire and lightning and water and like fire, lightning, ice, all the elements, all your core elements are in this one breath weapon.
Mm-hmm.
This is a powerful, like, mutated, monstrous dragon you've never imagined fighting. Or even meeting. There's a reason this doesn't exist, because it doesn't exist anywhere else. You can
abomination.
Now see that. It is an abomination. Exactly right. 100% abomination. Just, you see this energy start collecting in its mouth. Is there anything Sylvain's gonna do in this moment?
Well, the first thing I would do is look at it, make direct eye contact, knowing it sees me, and say in Draconic, "I'm sorry, but I need that one." And then take a little bit of light, seeming to be a part of the blade of sky, and just slice directly at it, trying to behead it before a breath weapon can even get out.
Roll an attack check.
Plus 12, and that is a 15, 27.
Perfect. You definitely hit.
Nice.
Go ahead and do your damage.
Very gladly. As Colleen looks terrified. 11 plus 8. So 19. And then
Okay.
I also get, we're going to do a lot of math to this. I also get a
Let's
plus
go.
3
Do it.
on top of that, which will bring it up to 21.
Mm-hmm.
And then I also get to add the, what do you add to that? You don't add it here, you would add it later. And before that one even stops being fired off, you just see an arrow fly out of him for a 17. With that hit as well.
17 total to hit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'll
Nice. So as the sky is rended and a sword just swipes down, there's also just an arrow shot out of somewhere on his body as like the star itself is pulled from the sky and sent straight through his eye for an additional 12 points of damage.
So you just did 34 points of damage?
Sounds good.
Okay. So the eye shot happens. You cut the same spot that the axe was already embedded to give you that extra ability to cut. Now, Telissa, back up. Does Telissa see anything of you, or does she just see this light blade and this light arrow from nowhere?
Oh, I believe you would probably only see the sky open up and a void of sparkling constellations slice through, followed by a falling star landing directly in its eye.
Ooh, beautiful.
Yeah. But Telissa's still raging, so she's not gonna really give two shits. She's like,
No.
oh, it's dying.
You see this portal of the heavens cover its head and then zip shut as the creature you were fighting is now decapitated. And light flies out its right-hand shoulder into the rock and just lodges there like an arrow.
Well, that's anticlimactic.
And I think on that you would just see, descending from above, a shape that's hard to place, as their form itself seems to be made out of starlight. And that anytime they move, it's not like anything moves, but as they move, the stars pass over them, so you can never identify where they are in one place for too long. And a hand would reach out to you and say, "Well, I am sorry to hear about your friend, but I fear you're not long for this world either. I can bring you somewhere that will make you safe, somewhere that will keep you alive, and we can talk about how it will be, but I do believe it would be better for you to come with me and not wait for whatever else might be coming for you. It's your choice, of course, but it is a choice you have to make."
Telissa's gonna look down at whatever remnants of the bodies that are left. Deep sigh and just nod and just be like, and in the next life, I will hope to see you guys. And she's just gonna say, all right, let's go.
And as you take Sylvain's hand, still in his star form, not really betraying any of his appearance, you would just feel this like protective coating come around us, as though the entire world slowly fades away until we're standing in nothing but an orb of darkness, and that stars just appear slowly, blinking in and out of existence until there's enough to be dimly lit. It feels as though he's always affixed at one point, but as he moves, it moves around him as though he's flying, and it feels like you might be somehow within a set of wings that are both protective and also never moving, until he'll reach down again to your hand and say, "I'm sorry, I don't believe I got your name."
It's Telissa Rae Hopscotch.
Well, Telissa Rae Hopscotch, I am quite sorry for your friends, and as I said, I do believe the same would happen to you, and it was a beautiful sentiment to hope to see them again one day. That's all we can ever hope for, and who's to say there are many realities out there, and there's always a promise you could find them once more. I wonder if perhaps I could aid you in your quest, whatever it may be.
I think I would like to find my friends again, whatever the next world holds, or wherever they may be. I'm kind of attached to them, and they were clearly no longer a part of that world.
Yes, and I cannot guarantee you'll immediately find those friends, but you'll find new ones. As you're floating here, what does Sylvain see your description as? Like, what do you look like in this state to him as you're coming out of a rage and breathing into a void of starlight and darkness?
Um, she's just kind of taking it all in. Because the biggest thing about her is she's very curious. And the one of the biggest things that she's learned is to actually take a moment to observe and reflect and think. So normally she would be jumping into action or saying something, but that part of her is past now. So she's just being super reflective in that instance, and just, I wouldn't say emotionless, but you can tell that she's just so tired and so spent. Yeah.
And I think noticing you would look around, would point to each star as they come in and out and say, each of those a life just like your own. All of them memories of a planet or a galaxy or a reality somewhere far off that we'll never see. But they're beautiful, aren't they?
They are. And each of one of them are souls?
Well, some of them are souls, some of them are clusters, some of them are thousands of planets, all just close enough together to give a little bit of light. One day you might see them all, but I'm not sure. That's your path. I notice you yourself are star-touched and will gesture towards your forehead. Do you know where that comes from?
I do not. I just assumed it was a birthmark or, a scar. I don't know. It's always been there.
Interesting. Well, would you allow me to unshackle you from it?
Sure. What's the harm in that? I mean, why not?
And you would see as this constellation reaches out, for the first time, a human hand stretches out that then transforms further into a very long claw shape with a point at the end of a brilliant silver color, almost the color of when you try and capture the ending of the night as it turns to dusk or when it turns to day. That last little bit of purple fading to silver will reach out and just tap you on the forehead, and you feel a tremendous sense of relief as that star is shattered into a billion pieces that could grow back into a broken star on your head, and say, well, now your star has exploded and you are no longer shackled to the world that you came from. Maybe one day you too can be an astral wanderer, but for now I think I have need of you in my world. And I would love to take you there if that's agreeable.
I mean, I have no home to go back to because my friends were my home, so I think it's on to the next one.
A beautiful sentiment. And, might I say, you seem to have a whole tempest of things inside of you. I feel rage, I feel calm, I feel this new chaos, and that will serve you well, but might I allow you a pact to organize it a bit better and give you a way of benefiting yourself as you enter into a new life in a new world?
I don't see the harm in it, so yeah, I think that would be okay.
Perfect. And one other question. Will it be painful to remember where you came from?
Yes. That I do not want to remember at all.
I can easily safeguard them for you and return them as you see fit, at your discretion and your choosing, if you think it would help you in a new land.
Yes, I very much think so. That I don't wish that on my worst enemy.
Noted. Then you would see he reaches, and for the first time you start to see his human appearance as he's reaching behind him. Not enough to make out or remember, but you would just see a male figure that's relatively tall, with a very strong build, with beautiful glowing horns that are still the same color of night turning to day as they go from a dark gray up to a twilight color gray at top. and you see him just reach onto his arm where he has a bunch of scales and pluck 2 of them off. Places one on your forehead where the star is exploding and just allows the memories to seep out until you see it turn into a dark black color. And then he places it just up in the sky where a single glowing white light starts to appear, and then pulls another and gives it to you. And as he hands it to you, he says, "With this scale, you'll be allowed to call on me when you need, and it will be a beacon from you to I to show that a pact has been made. You don't need to understand right now what it is I need from you, but trust me, you will be fulfilling it quite nicely. And if you choose to accept, a bit of my power will be yours to do with as you need, as long as it continues to further better everyone around you and help you develop new friendships."
Telissa's going to take that scale and just nod.
And as you touch it, just like a glowing chain of living electricity would form from one end to the other. It's cold, it doesn't hurt, but you can feel it writhing. And as you presumably put it on or put it in your bag, you would feel it just like not sink in and not attach, but bond itself with you. To know that as long as you're holding on to this, our agreement will stand, and you will have a way of contacting me should you need.
Okay.
And with that, he'd say, "Well, depending on how long you take, it can be quite easy to find. Look to the skies. I'm typically somewhere out here, but if you really need me, ask around for Sylvain, and the right people can get you to me."
Sylvain. Okay.
Yes. And I think with that, we can take you to your new home.
Okay.
You'll see him fade out as like just that wall continues to condense down until you're just a little burning bright light, and it fades into just a nice shell of protection as he carries you back through the cosmos. We can't have anything getting to his new baby warlock. And we'll go to the site of, I believe, where an asteroid fell several thousand years ago, and find just a small group of people and say, "There's something I will need that is quite precious in here. Please make sure it's looked after," and just hand the first person he sees this eggshell.
What you see is a 6.5 foot tall male orc dressed very much like an archaeologist or like an Indiana Jones style look. So he's got the hat, he's got a whip on his side, he's got the vest. Like, he is straight up indie this shit, right? In fact, off in the distance, you even see a small little airship. And you do, as you guys came down and through, you actually passed across Tauliva and landed off on the western side of the crater in an archaeologist dig pit, where they were doing some research on like mineral compositions of the crater wall to see what it was made of, how it happened, a little bit of research into that shit. And he just says, "As you wish, Lord Sylvain." And you see he's got a dragon pendant on himself, a simple black dragon scale with the electricity necklace.
Yep.
And "As you wish."
Thank you.
And this egg is, what color are your scales going to end up being? Do you have any inclination, Colleen?
My scales. Oh, they're going to be anywhere from like a green color to an orange color. So
Perfect. So it's this
combo
mossy,
of both.
yeah. So the egg is this mossy green mixed with like almost like burnt orange swirl pattern going across this entire egg. The egg is a good size. Like, if you cradle your arm, it would fill up your entire left to right. And this orc is carrying it well because he's an orc, but it's a big egg as you lay there and you are just forgetting your past, growing anew, And Sylvain ends up flying away to go do some more business elsewhere.
Yep.
A few days pass. The egg, you feel it jostle a little bit. You feeling anything hasn't happened in about a week. You've just been this burnt ember inside, slowly starting to flame up and up. But as this egg is jostled and laid down into a warm nest with a hot fire below, your flame erupts, cracking the egg, and in its place, you see the new version of yourself. Can you describe what little baby Telissa would have looked like 9 years ago?
So, little baby Telissa, she's just a little girl. Can't say little guy. I mean, she is a little guy, but a little girl. She has a tabaxi-like appearance, but she did just hatch from an egg. So like she looks like she's got ears, fur. Her coloration is overall orange, but she does have like these stripes, kind of like peeking through, and they're green, and they're scaly. So very, very different. And yeah, she does have one blue eye and one green eye still as well.
Okay, perfect. So you've got that little bit of heterochromia going on.
Yep.
As your fur is now this burnt orange. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
Yep.
you've got the burnt orange fur with mossy green with
Like
a little bit of dabbling of orange scaling.
Yeah.
But it's mostly moss green, a little bit of orange.
Yep.
And with the exception of on your shoulder is that black scale.
Okay.
In the middle of all this
Shoulder.
green, you have a single black scale. That is your packed scale. It is now merged with your form.
Yep. Like embedded into the skin. Yeah.
Yeah. Because
there.
it was in your pack or on you or whatever, so it was just merged with you when you were reborn. And the first thing you see is this orc male say, "Hello, young one. I will teach you the ways of the Sylvanese." And that is where we're going to end our session for today.